In this video, I'll discuss about the list in Python. In my previous video, that is data types in Python, I have discussed about the list briefly. This is the URL for that video link. A list is one of the collection data type, and it is a collection which is ordered and changeable. Lists are written with square brackets, and this is how you can create list. As I mentioned before, the details of how to create list have been mentioned in this video, that is data types in Python. uh, you give the list name, which is otherwise called object name, equal to, within square brackets you can give the items separated by comma. Since this items are string type, I have included it within double quotes, and this first item will by default have the index as 0, and this is index 0 is used when you start from this left end. If you access the items from the reverse side, then the index of the last item is -1. That is what is given here. Negative index access items from the end of the list. All these details have been included in this data types in Python video. Accessing list items can be done uh, using this method, that is you give the object name, within square brackets give the index of the item to be accessed. Either you can use positive indexes if you want to access the items from the beginning of the list. If you want to access items from the end of the list, then you can use negative indexes. Here colors of 0 or colors of -3 represents red, colors of 1 or colors of -2 represents white, colors of 2 or colors of -1 represents yellow, according to this particular list. And next is about the range of indexes. That is when you give the object name, you will get the items of the list, that is red, white and yellow, as we have created here. And you can access from this particular list a set of items that can be specified using a range of indexes within square brackets, that is starting from 1, index 1, up to 2, index 2, it will be accessing items. So as per this range, the colors of index 1 represents here white, so white is displayed, and uh, what index is given as the end index will not be included for accessing purpose. Only up to that end index will be accessed. So in the item representing index 2 is not accessed. And this example uses negative index, that is from -2, that is -2 here represents white, up to -1, which is yellow here. But since according to range of indexes, the end index is not included for accessing items, so it will also access only white. The details given in this slide have been discussed in this data types in Python video. You can go through that video to know more about this details. In this video, uh, I'll concentrate more on the other operations that can be done on list. The first among them is length. That is, number of items in a list can be determined by using len function. A len function can be used with all collection data types. You can use it with list, tuple, dictionary, set, strings, For all these cases, you can use len function to find the number of items. As you can see in the example, I have created a color list one with all these colors. When I use len function with this, it displays the output as 5 since there are 5 colors in this list. Next is how to add items to a list. Items can be added to the end of the list by using append method. That is, this is the created list, color list one. To this, we append the item orange, which have been added here to the end of the list. Next, how to insert items to the list. That is done using the insert method. Here, in the syntax, you can see list object. There is a list name dot insert. That is a method used. Within brackets, you give the index at which position you need to insert the new item. That index is to be given, and then the item to be inserted, new item to be inserted. And this is the previously created list, that is color list one, which has all these colors, that is 5 colors, and the appended uh, color of the previous slide, that is here we appended orange, which is seen in this list as orange at the end of the list. And when I use insert on this list, I use the color list one, that is the list name dot insert. Within brackets, you specify the index where you want to insert the item. That is, here I have mentioned it as 2. So 2 index here means this is red is 0, yellow is 1, white is 2. So at this position, the new color will be inserted. So as you can see here, when you display color list one, you can see it has the color white, which was in at index 2, has been moved now to index 3, whereas maroon have been added as index 2. Next is about removing items from a list. There are 4 ways uh, in which you can remove items. The first one is using pop method. Here the syntax you can see in here, that is pop within brackets, you give the index. This have been included within square brackets because index is optional. That is, it removes item at the specified index or removes the last item in the list if index is not given. So index is optional here. If you give it, it will remove the item at that specified index. If you don't give it, then it will remove the last item in the list. As you can see in the example, this is the color list we have created already. And when I use color list 1 dot pop of 2, the item at index 2 is removed. As you can see, it displays it as white. Now when you display the color list 1 list, it displays a list without white color. And in the next example, that is I have used here uh, pop without any index values, just empty brackets. Since no index have been specified, it will remove the last item in the list, which is orange. And when you display color list again, you can see the orange color has been removed from the list. Next method of removing items from the list is using remove method, where you have to give within brackets the value of item to be removed. That is, it removes the specified item from the list. It removes the first occurrence of the item. If there are more uh, items or more items representing this value, then it removes only the first one. Okay, according to the previously created list, the color list one has four colors, and here I remove yellow color. Instead of giving the index, you can directly give the value itself. So when you give the value yellow to be removed, then when you display the color list, you can see red, pink, and blue only now in the list. And the next method that is used for uh, deleting items is clear method, which empties the entire list. Okay, and this is the color list now. It has three colors, and I use color list one dot clear. It removes all the items, and when you display color list one, it displays a empty list. Next is removing items using del keyword. It removes the items at the specified index, or it can be used to remove the entire list. So for both purposes you can use it, either to remove the entire list or to remove an item at the specified index. This is a color list I have created, that is the colors equal to all these colors, and when I use del of colors of 1 where I specify the index, it removes the item representing index 1, which is here yellow. And when you display the colors, you can see yellow has been removed from the list. And this can also be done like this, that is, you can give a range of indexes for to be deleted. There is a del colors of 1 colon 3, that is, one here is yellow, sorry, according to this list it is white, and 2 is pink, 3 is blue. But since, as I said before, in range of indexes, what you specify as the end index is not used for accessing items. Okay, in this case, for deleting purpose also, it does not consider the value given or index given in the as the last index, end index. Okay, so uh, colors of 1 and colors of 2 will be removed, and not 3 is removed. And when you printed the colors, you can see two colors only now, that is red and blue. Okay, and you can also use del colors of -1, which removes the last item in the list, and you can see the colors when you display it, it displays only red color, that is last item. Blue has been removed now. Next is copy method, that is, this is used to copy a list. Two methods are used here to copy a list. First one is copy method. It makes a copy of the given list. Example, this is a color list created with colors red, pink, and blue, and this list is copied into another list which is called a new list. That is done using new list equal to the list which we are going to copy dot copy method. So when you type new list, it displays the list items as similar to that of color list 1. This can also be done using list of function, which is a function, not a method. So it makes a copy of the given list. Here you can see, instead of, I'm not using here the object name dot method name. Since list is a function, you have to give list, within brackets you give the list to be copied. So list to be copied is color list 1, which is copied on to new list 2. Okay, So when you type a new list 2, you can see the colors displayed as red, pink, blue, which is similar to that of color list 1. So we have 3 lists of containing the same items. Next is joining list. That can be done using plus operator. The two methods used here. The first one is plus operator, and that is simply done as list 1 plus list 2. As you can see in the example, num1 is a list containing these numbers, and num2 is another list containing this set of numbers. And when I do num1 plus num2, you can see the output. It has been joined together as a third list. Okay. The same can also be done like this. You can assign it to a variable, that is list name, and this joined list is assigned to this variable, and when you type the list name here, it displays the joined list. This is another method of doing the same, that is extend method. This adds the items in one list to the end of another list. And this is list syntax is list object dot extend within brackets iterable object. For example, num1 num2 are two lists with this set of numbers, and num1 dot extend of num2 will append this second list to the end of the first list, as you can see in the output. Next is count method, that is to count the number of occurrences of specified item in the list. That is, for example, fruits dot count of, you specify the item to be counted. Since apple is here in this list, we have 2 apples as items in fruits. When you count apple, it will display the output as 2. Instead, if you give orange, it will also give the output as 2. If you give it as grapes, then the count will be 1. Index method. In this heading itself, I have given the syntax for it. That is index within brackets item value, that is the first parameter. Following it is start and end, which is optional. Okay. Only parameter that is mandatory here is item value, and this index method returns the index of the first occurrence of the specified item in the list, and the parameter item value here is used to specify the value that is to be searched for. Start here indicates where to begin the search, and end here indicates where to end the search. These two are optional. The only mandatory is item value, as you can see in the example. For that, it returns error if the item is not found. Okay. In the first example, I have created a list of fruits which has this fruits, and the fruits dot index of orange will return the index of this item. So you can see it displays it as 1. Okay, and the same can also be, that is fruits. In the second example, and the same list is used, fruits dot index of apple comma 1. That is where you have to begin the search. That is, you have to begin the search at index 1. Index 1 here is orange. So the searching for apple will begin from this position. So from this position, when you search for apple, you have apple at location, that is index 3. So it returns the value as 3. Okay. In this case, in the next line, fruits dot index of orange start index at 2 and end it at 4. So start index 2, which is this position, that is grapes position. So the search will begin from here for orange and it should end at 4. That is 4 is not included. It will be, as I said before, when you give a range of indexes, it only takes the previous value given in the last index. That is from 2 up to 4 it will be doing. Okay, so it will start from 2 and up to 4 it will search for orange. So since 4 is not included, it will be searching at 2 and 3 only for orange. Since 2 and 3, at 2 and 3 we don't have orange, it will display it as an error, that is orange is not in list. Okay, next is reverse method. It reverses the items in the list. That is, this is the list given num1, and when I use num1 dot reverse of, you can see it reverses the items in the list. Next is about the sort method. Here also in the title itself I have included the syntax for it, that is within square brackets. Since it has been given within square brackets, it means it is optional, so you can use sort method without any parameters. um, the parameters that can be used is a reverse, which can have two values, either of the two values, true or false, and the other one is key equal to a function. This is a customized function which you can use here to specify the sorting method. Okay, and a reverse equal to true means here, as you can see, uh, by default, so it sorts the items of the list in ascending order. If I give reverse, as I said before, it is optional, used to specify the sorting order. If it is true, it indicates descending order. If it is false, which is the false is the default here, it indicates ascending order. So if you give the value of reverse as true, then you can see the output in descending order. Next is the parameter key, which is also optional. It contains a function that is used to specify other sort criteria. For example, you can see here num is the list given, and when I give num dot sort without any parameters, it sorts the list in ascending order. Okay, whereas when I give num dot sort of reverse equal to true, it sorts the list in descending order, and you can see the result also accordingly. This is another example for sort. This uses key parameter. Here I have created a name list with four names, and some names begin with capital letter, whereas here Lakshmi starts with a small letter. Normally, a sort will do the ASCII comparison for generating the result. As you can see here, when I use simply name list dot sort of, it will do uh, alphabetical comparison based on ASCII values. So since capital letters have smaller ASCII values, that will be displayed first. Okay, and small letters have greater ASCII values. So Lakshmi comes at the end of the uh, list. But according to alphabetical comparison, Lakshmi has to come before Zenith. This can be done using this key criteria. That is, when I use here name list dot sort of key is equal to str dot upper, it will convert the given string in the name list to uppercase first. All the names will be converted to uppercase, and then the sorting is done. So since all letters are of same case, the correct alphabetical order will be displayed. As you can see here in the output, Lakshmi comes at the correct place in the sorting order. Next is list constructor. Using this list constructor, you can create a list. Uh, that is, you can create a list using list within two round brackets. You have to give the items. Okay, and when you display it, you can see the items displayed. Okay, only thing you have to notice here is here you have to use two brackets for specifying the items. This way also you can create a list. Next is check if item exists in a list. This can be done using two operators, in and not in operators. As you can see in this example, a new list is created using list constructor, and the list here now is that is 12, 3, 4, and here I am going to check whether 12 exists in new list, that is 12 not in new list. If 12 not in new list, then it will generate false. Okay, if since we are checking not in, it will give the result as false, as 12 is in list. Okay, next in the next example we check 3 in list. So since 3 exists in the list, it will display the result as true. Okay, if you give a number that is not in the list, if 5, if you give here instead of 3, 5 in new list, since 5 is not there in the list, it will display the result as false. Okay, and here if you give 5 not in, it will give the result as true. And not in and in can also be used in if, used with the if statement. If 3 in new list, based on the result you can print either found or not found. Since 3 is in new list, it prints the result as found. Next, how to iterate through the items in the list. That can be done using for loop. You can iterate through the items in the list. For example, for variable in list name, then you give the code. In the example you can see this is a list, a number list, that is 9 to 1, and I can iterate through all the values. I can print the values in the list using print statement, that is for I in num1, that is a list name. So it will access each item in the list and will be assigned to I. Okay, it will be printed one by one until the end of the list. All the items in the list is displayed as you can see in the output. That's all about the operations that can be done over list. Thank you.